Are we
We
live?
live. This is a pop up because, of course, our schedules. We got pop out and show. So this is a pop up with your favorite cousins, Marilyn Monroe and Rem Real Estate Michelle. Green Eyes is sitting out today. She has a garden injury. However, we the two cousins that definitely talk Zodiac. And today's conversation is summertime Zodiac.
Summertime.
Hey, drums, please. I like how it used to come on. So, yes.
Somebody, look, when you said that, I felt like a retard. I'm sorry. Yes, it's okay. Yes, you doing good. Good afternoon, everybody.
We just laughing about her.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. So before we get into it, let's talk. And this is very much improv. Her and I did not have this conversation before but I'm gonna hit her with this. So let's talk because you and I have grew up. We grew up together, like literally like sisters. Anybody that knows you knows me, knows that we
and vice versa.
Like we did almost everything together. So let's talk about, give me one of your favorite memories, summertime memories of us.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to give a general consensus of my favorite memories during the summertime. It's very general, but we spent a lot of time at our family house, which all the cousins would come all the time. Like our parents could literally just be like, okay, bye. Yes. And just drop us off. And we would just be there forever until they come pick us up. Yes. Nevertheless, just having like our what you call them things, the little juices that we used to have, and the popsicles and the candy store that we used to walk to, Miss Tootie, that was her name.
Yes,
we used to walk to Miss Tootie's and get candy from the candy store. Huggies, the Huggies. We used to have our Huggies because we weren't allowed in the house much. Because there was so many of us, and it was so hot because there was no central air. So it was so hot in there. So we most of the time spent a lot of time outside. So we would turn, like, I know for me, I would turn like 5 shades darker by the end of the summer because we would be outside so much. But and in the backyard, at the back of the backyard, all the way in the back, there was a honeysuckles. It's like a big thing of honeysuckles back there. And we used to pick them, and we used to just suck on them, and we didn't die. We still here. Like I don't know what these honeysuckles are like now.
Pesticide. Very much pesticide.
Okay, but back then we would tear them up like they were candy or something. So I mean, I could go on and on with like what we did back then and how much fun we had. We were like really, really kids back then, and we had an amazing time. And our parents really afforded us the opportunity to be kids. And our extended parents, our grandparents, our great aunts, uncles, because we were raised by a village of people, which we don't really find that nowadays. So I'm grateful for our village.
Yes.
So that's I could keep going because we got so much, but that's like when I think of summertime and the nostalgia of it, I start to think of those things.
Yeah.
So
what are my many, like you said, we had many summers together. Like as old as we are, we had almost every single, like we had more summers together than we had apart. And I remember the same setting at our family's house because we have a family house, a house of many rooms and many families. And according to people who needed that space and who needed housing, that house was available. It was true family, like a true family. So, but in that back area, in the backyard, we had the clothesline, the large clothesline. We used to run between the sheets that was drying with the
that smelled so good. The smell of the sheets drying, the sheets drying, and the laundry detergent, and then the smell of outside and the sheets.
I love the smell of the bleach for the white sheets. Being in the backyard, we had definitely that big honeysuckle bush.
Yes.
And we would eat from it and not die. and the we had a peach tree in the
Yep.
backyard. We didn't eat the peaches though.
Because they would kind of like fall. And
Yes.
sometimes they had like worms and different insects kind of
Yeah.
crawling through them. So we
Yeah.
were like, no, we good on the peaches.
Right.
But
we had a peach tree, and we would just play, and it was like all of our cousins
yeah.
that would come, and again we just had such great summers. I remember when we were maybe 10, 11, if that. And because you and I, we did Barbies. Everyone knew we were the Barbie cousins. We collect Barbies. We had the house, the cars, all the accessories. So we had all that going on. But I loved how we always had our Barbie thing going on. And then we would do talent shows. And we would sing. We created singing groups, dancing. We even like fake directed videos of songs. Fake directed.
We really had an imagination, unlike a lot of the children nowadays. Yes. We had to use our imagination to do anything. We didn't have a bunch of toys and this and that in the backyard. We didn't have that, so we literally created stuff to do.
Yeah, we did. We had really great summers, like really good summers. So this is a trick question. I mean, not really trick, but I was telling my honey this, and
your honey bear,
my honey bear. I want to see if you remember. So when we played video games, right? When we played what is it, Sega, and all those video games. If I got
Nintendo.
If I got out, what would I do?
Go off and hit people. You were violent. She had to be a winner back then. She was a violent loser.
I would get up, and somebody else would have their turn.
Yeah, whoever that was gonna get hit. So
I was fighting them.
Yeah, she was a fighter back then. She's a lover today. Was a fighter back then.
Yes. Well, I guess I'm both.
Yeah, I guess so.
But so yes, those are the classic stories of yours truly in Rum.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's dig in, shall we?
Shall we?
So the first zodiac of the zodiacs is
moi.
Aries.
Aries.
Summertime. I pulled a vacation activity from social media, and it lists every single zodiac, and it says what they feel that zodiac will be doing as an activity during the summer. Yes. We can say true or false. We can either agree with it, or we can say no.
Okay.
This one I feel like it's a true. So the first one is Aries, and it says activity ziplining.
Yes. Yours truly has ziplined.
Yep.
I have ziplined multiple times. And the last time I ziplined, I went all the way to the top of a mountain in Central America. And I zipped down 10 lines in the mountains, in the forest.
I knew. I was like, this is her. So it starts off good, right?
Yes. So that's correct.
All right. The next is Taurus. The vacation activity saying it's jet skiing.
A Taurus?
Yes.
Jet skiing? False.
I agree. Why would you think they won't jet ski?
Because Taurus that's like a very adrenaline driven sport. Like zipline is very adrenaline. And I don't think that Taurus is like that much adrenaline. I'm not saying no adrenaline, but that much, I don't think so. A boat ride, I would say, like a nice, smooth, quiet, relaxing, predictable boat ride. Yeah. But that, no.
Okay. Gemini, the activity is swimming with dolphins.
Yes, absolutely.
You think?
Yes.
Okay.
True.
Okay. Cancer.
Now this one is for you. True or false, Cancer?
It says lying on the beach.
Absolutely. I think so.
As long as it's an umbrella.
Yeah, I think so.
If there's an umbrella, yes, absolutely. And there's a nice cool drink, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I have my sun hat, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
Yeah.
But very good.
Leo, it says going to the spa.
As a summer activity, okay, read the question again and let me answer it the way I think. Because that's a yes, but maybe a no. So go ahead.
Okay, it says your zodiac sign vacation activity is, and it lists each sign, and then
so yeah, I can see Leo definitely going to the spa. However, Leo, like Aries, likes more outdoor activities. So could I see that as the first choice? No. But could I see them doing it? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Virgo.
I'm sorry. What? For me, I'm an Aries. Virgos are very boring. So what's the activity?
You got it. The activity is reading a book.
Yes! Yes! Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. Yes.
Read a book. Probably on some health stuff about something. Yeah.
And that's cool. But on vacation in the summertime, like we can do that later. Come on, let's go.
Right. We do that. Yeah. So the next, which is hilarious, is Libra. And it says kayaking.
I could see it flip-flop with Leo. I could see
going to the spa?
A Libra's first choice would be the spa, and a Leo first choice would be kayaking.
Really? I feel like the Libra would totally like going to the spa. And if we're talking like all Leos or Libras, going to the spa, absolutely. I mean, kayaking is something like you said, the adrenaline.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. But that's their assigned activity for this thing. True or false? I think true. It could be true. But I think a Libra totally would want to do that because they can yell. They love to yell. They love to kind of like, be seen and heard, that type of thing. So, I mean. I
don't think they can be cute enough on a kayak. No. I mean, they can be cute on a kayak. Don't get me wrong. But I think going to the spa, because Libras are very much like, I want to be cute. I want to look my best. So I think the spa would be first. And then maybe a kayak.
I would say this. I would find more the September Libras more sophisticated.
Yeah.
They're more sophisticated, like very much more like, just like, dainty and like, yes. September, and that's my best friend, Leah.
Hey, Miss Y.
Okay. The next is Scorpio, and that's cave diving. I can see that.
I've done that.
I can see that.
For Scorpio?
Uh-huh.
Oh no. Cave diving for Scorpio.
For a man Scorpio. I don't think a woman.
Possibly a man Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe because like the men and women are different.
Yes, they are.
So it's like you said, probably for a man, but for a woman, I don't know.
I think the spa would be for them. They would want to do something that doesn't require.
They do like more like relaxing, calm stuff. Mm-hmm. I would say so. Yeah.
Sagittarius.
It's got to be something wild. Because Saggies are wild like Aries.
It's touring.
Touring?
Being a tourist, going out exploring.
I would say exploring. Yeah. But I don't see them, like if it's going to be like a long 4-hour tour, they're not doing that. No. That's too boring for them. But like touring and we're going to be here for like 20 minutes and then we about to leave and go to this place for 30 minutes. And it's kind of like exciting. I could see that because they like excitement. They like, because they get bored really quick. So it can't be like this boring, like 3-hour tour of Williamsburg.
I'm going to tell you something. One of the signs that I find that is one. I didn't say all, but one of the signs I find that's very much inconsistent with just the overall people is Sagittarius, because it's hit and miss. Like one Sagittarius will show you something else, and the other be like, "Oh, dang, you a Sag," that type of thing. So
I pick up on their energy because I'm an Aries, and a lot of my best friends are Saggies. Yes, a lot of my favorite people are Saggies, so I know their energy, and I know that they're inconsistent. They are.
They are.
So you're correct about that. They're very inconsistent.
Yeah, very inconsistent.
They're
very.
But the thing about their inconsistency, unlike a Taurus inconsistency, is that they're willing to admit they're inconsistent as hell, right? Because they are. They're willing to admit that, and it has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with you. So you can't really take it personal. Like, they won't get mad at you. Yeah, it's like they know they're inconsistent. They'll be like, yeah, I'm just inconsistent. They'll be like, I'm a bad friend. And you'll be like, yes, you are. And they're like, okay, cool. We acknowledge that I'm a bad friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of do admit to like their shortcomings, but
later.
Yeah, later. Yes, they will admit it. But like for a Taurus, they just do that anyway. That's like their nature, and they just, oh well.
Okay.
They don't think it affects other people. Where Saggies, they kind of like know, they know deep down it does affect other people.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay. The next is.
Can you hear that?
I can hear it. It's Capricorn.
Look. Their activity. Okay, go. Are they complaining? Look, whatever they doing, they complaining about it. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, so it's definitely for them to do this so that they can make sure that they shut the hell up, and that's eating. Stuff your mouth.
They definitely like to eat. I can definitely admit that Capricorns like to eat. But I guarantee you this: when you bring the plate out the first time, it's something wrong. You didn't fry their fish hard enough. There's not enough ketchup. It's not right. The plate isn't full enough. So they may have to send their food back a couple times. Before. Yeah. They like to complain. So yes, they do like to eat. That's true. I would definitely say that. But you're not going to satisfy them like right away. Like where everybody else is sitting there like, you're like, oh, this is good. They be like, I didn't ask for my potatoes to be whipped this hard. You'd be like, it's just mashed potatoes. Just eat it. It's
right.
No, I don't like them this. I said medium whipped mashed potato. What the medium whipped mashed potatoes?
Have to be difficult.
Yes.
Eat. They need to eat.
Yes.
Aquarius is drinking.
Okay.
They're social.
They're very sociable. Now, I've born two of them, and they don't drink, nor do they have a desire to drink. So, but they like to have a good time. Yes. So I would say, if we're saying have a good time,
yes,
that's what it's translating to. Then I would say yes.
Say it.
They definitely like to have a good time and explore and do things. They are those people.
Yeah, the drinking, like for sure, is kind of like because my third son is an Aquarius. But he's just very social, very like that drinking. Yeah. No, he'll pass on that.
Yeah, they don't drink. They're not big drinkers in my opinion.
And they're of age to drink legally. So, but just don't decide to like the drinking part has
because they actually
our wing of the family.
They're not. My son, they are not drinkers.
Yeah,
but they definitely like to have a good time.
Yeah, and then the last is Pisces.
Smoking weed.
Well,
they would be the drinkers. I will replace that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I will replace that because they like escapism.
I agree.
Yeah.
So it says snorkeling. So yeah, they go underwater and maybe drink a.
They get to escape. They get to escape life to go down below to
level.
I would say that's a possibility.
Okay. So we hit all the 12 zodiacs. And I'm gonna throw a few summertime activities out, and then we can then label them instead of it being already labeled. So
Okay.
we're gonna say cookout. Who is doing a cookout? Who's going to a cookout? Who's doing, like, who would be the most
Who's hosting the cookout, or who's hosting it, or who's going to the cookout?
let's say who's hosting.
Who's hosting the cookout? Cancer.
Yes, we are. We hosting it.
Y'all
We
love
host
hosting.
that.
Yeah.
Have,
Y'all the hostess of the mostest.
We're the hostess
So,
with
yes.
the mostest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So who is throwing a pool party?
A pool party. Who is throwing a pool party? Let me think. May. Who do you think? I'm gonna put that one over.
I think a Libra would throw a pool party.
Yeah, I would say Libra.
Yeah,
Libra
I think
would throw a pool
party because they get to probably wear their mermaid
Their
outfit.
cute little outfit, and
it may not be cute, but it's gonna be an outfit. It's gonna be an outfit.
They get to do their outfit, and I know some Libras actually do like the host. So
yeah, they do. They love to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so who is taking a road trip? Again, we can name more than one zodiac.
Definitely Sagittarius.
Yes.
Definitely Aries.
Yes.
Aries is taking a road trip, and Sagittarius. Matter of fact, we probably together taking a road trip.
Yes, I think for sure. Like, I agree. Aries and Sag. Sag will take a road trip at a drop of a dime.
Yeah, I'm a drop of a dime person. Like, okay, let's go do this. Yeah.
Who's doing a cruise?
Libra. I would say Saggy. Saggy might be taking a cruise because they like to travel. Travels.
Gemini. A Gemini's gonna take a cruise.
Yeah, Gemini. Yes, Gemini, Saggies. Who else would take a cruise? Maybe Aquarius. They might take a cruise.
Yeah.
Pisces. Water.
All water ain't right. All the water.
I would say Pisces. I think Pisces like taking cruises.
Okay.
In my opinion, water.
Okay. Who is in the house in the AC?
Scorpio.
A Virgo for sure.
Virgo, because they're like germaphobes. They're very like, so I would say Virgo. I would say Scorpio, and Taurus. Taurus don't like all that. They don't like all that.
Yes. Who is camping?
Aries, Saggy, Leo. Leo likes outdoors.
Leo for sure.
Yeah, they like outdoors.
Leo
for sure. So all the fire signs are camping. All the fire signs are. Yeah. Who do you think? Those are my three. All the fire signs, they're camping.
I'd say who's camping. I would say definitely Aries is camping. Leo, yes. I would say Scorpio. Again, the guys. When I reference Scorpio, I always kind of have the men involved, the guys involved, because a lot of times, again, and I think we made this clear on several other podcasts that we discussed zodiacs. And again, sometimes you don't have the normal zodiac that we discuss.
Yeah.
Sometimes factors play into the behaviors, such as mental health. Definitely plays a
upbringing, mental health, and then we're talking right now sun signs. So there are other placements in a chart. So sometimes those placements can,
set you aside from.
Yeah, can influence. The sun is the one that sticks out the most. Like, think of the sun. Boom, and then the next one is moon.
Yes.
So the moon sign comes under the sun. So there's like different placements. Yeah.
So sometimes definitely, like I said, mental health, it definitely plays a role on every individual, in which sometimes the behaviors are like, you really are XYZ.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't get that from you. It's because it's trauma, mental health, whatever. So
like me, I give off Aries energy all day. People pick up on my sign real quick. They be like, I knew that was Aries energy.
Yeah, you can't miss it. I think a lot of people think I'm a Leo, which is my moon sign. A lot of people.
That's your moon sign.
Yeah, a lot of people say I'm a Leo. If I do say it Cancer, they're like, I can see that. But I had a conversation with a guy a couple of weeks ago, and he was just like, my brother's a Cancer. He was just like, he's a little bit more like direct, like he's direct and he's a hardcore. And I'm like, and he's like, you're soft. That's because I'm a woman.
You're soft, but you are direct. So I will admit to the directness. You might soften it up because
I can
you know how to, like, if you have to, you'll soften it up for whatever's appropriate for that person, place, or thing or situation. However, if you just have like something on your mind real quick, you be like, no, boom, direct. Like it's no
like a
cut card. It's just like straight, and you be like, oh, okay.
Okay, the last one is going to concerts. That's
definitely
Cancer
and Aries. Yeah, Cancer's going, and Aries. All the fire signs are going to concerts. I would say Aquarius because they love entertainment.
Yes,
they love that. An Aquarius. Cancer's going. I would say Gemini. I think they like music and
stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't see a Virgo. Even though Virgos like the arts, Beyonce's a Virgo, Michael Jackson was a Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
But if you notice, they like their artsy stuff. They're not like big supporters of other. They might, hey, we're gonna collaborate with somebody, but you're not gonna see them like at the Drake concert. Like they just, I don't know, they just like their arts. I think it's their. I think it's like their.
Beyonce has supported other talents. And
I don't see her out that much. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying she don't collaborate because she does.
Yeah.
With her stuff.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson collaborates. He'll collaborate people with his stuff, but they don't do a lot of collaborations, in my opinion, outside of themselves.
Supporting, yeah.
Yeah.
Or they have their selected few.
Yeah, because that's like their thing. Like music is like it's like their religion. And
yes.
Whatever they have, whether it's art, music, whatever it is, it's kind of like their religion.
It is. Very much.
Yeah. And that's how they become superstars, in my opinion, because it's them. They don't have to come outside of themselves to like build it. It's already built within them. So So they just become big because it's just who you are. It's just Beyonce. It's just Michael Jackson. Like it's just you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah.
That's true. So we're done that rundown of the Zodiac summertime in a sense of like the activities and just overall how they are like in the summer. Let me just tell you, me as a Cancer, my favorite style, summertime style, as far as like wardrobe, I love sundresses. I love flowy, like just like nice, like dresses or just t-shirts and jeans. Definitely like pop pieces for sure.
Yeah,
like I love a good nice sandal. A nice good like maybe a chunky necklace to tie in. I love that type of look during the summer. Some accessories, of bracelets and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got tickled because I had a friend the other day. She came by. I was cleaning up my garage, and she said, "What you been up to?" I said, "Girl, I'm cleaning and I'm dirty." She said, "Girl, when you dirty, you look clean." I said, "Yeah, because
Cancer, y'all like your home. You like your space, your home, and that area has to be clean and neat. And y'all are like home. Y'all are like the homebodies of the Zodiac.
We are.
Like, it's like your sanctuary.
Yes. So, what is your style during the summer?
Whatever works. I don't like to be hot though, so I'm a fire sign, and so that's already hot. So I don't like to be hot. No. So I like to wear as less as possible and dress for the occasion and appropriation, whatever that is. I just don't want to be hot. That's the main thing. I don't want to be hot. I can be versatile. I just don't want to be hot. That's it.
Yeah. I don't blame you. And today in South Carolina, we are at 93 degrees.
Yeah.
However, the heat index makes it feel all of 100 degrees.
Yeah.
It's hot here.
Yeah.
So I've been out and about early, and I'm back at the lab, and I'll be going out at night. So that's how I kind of do things, early and then late.
And
so
then
that way I don't have to. It's just too hot.
Yeah.
And I'm granted, I always say like I'm not outside per se, like just standing or sitting outside. I'm like in the car between buildings, but it's just too hot.
Yeah.
It's and also I think to go back to fashion real fast because you have it on right now, and I love that lip color. Y'all big on some lip color.
Yeah, we love color.
Yes.
We definitely love color.
The lip. Like me, I'm just I will do a nude lip every day, all day. And maybe I pop it like every now and again, but you like Aries, y'all will pop that.
Yeah, we like popping. We like popping color. Even though sometimes I feel like I can be basic with color at times, but we do like to pop. Like, yeah, everything has to pop. Even
what color is that?
Probably can't even.
Let me see your nails.
I can't remember the name of it, but my nails, I don't know if you can see it. My nails have green and purple, black and white. Like I don't know if you can see it real good, but it kind of like matches the purple and the green and stuff.
I have, of course, again, I like I have
those are cute.
Like some peachy color.
Yeah.
Design. I like I like kind of like nude colors. Nothing too loud, because some people they look at you crazy and they assume that they could talk to you crazy, like, "Hey, girlfriend," and I'm like, no, I don't do all that. I don't play around with anybody like that. Like, no. So yeah, clientele thinks they know you because
exactly.
You don't
exactly.
But yeah. So
those were all of our Zodiac questions.
That was it.
Oh yeah. Somebody know. Oh yeah.
Because we can run through these Zodiacs, girl. We always run through them. I know I've learned a lot more about the behaviors of certain Zodiacs. Like I said, I definitely see the difference between like the Libras, the September Libras, and the October Libras. Is definitely a difference. Like I said, September Libras are more soft girl, like dainty, like cute, that's again based on my observation. And then even Cancers are definitely different. The ones that are in June are slightly different from the July Cancers. But yeah.
Yeah. So what for you? We're going to be a little bit biased, so no offense to anyone on the call. This is strictly our views or our opinions. Right. So what are your top 3 favorite Zodiac signs? Like if you were like, not top favorite. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
So if you were going to spend a week with 3 Zodiac signs, what 3 Zodiac signs would you spend the week with? You're going to have a good time. Like, okay.
I'm going to spend with an Aries for sure, because again, you're my sister cousin, and that's all I know in a sense of like, yeah, real shit. Like Aries for sure. I'm definitely going to still pick a Libra because like Libras are like, they bring the drama. And as much as sometimes it's irritating, I can roll with the drama. Like, forget what you heard. I can roll with the drama.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. So I can roll with that. So yeah, Libra, Aries, and these are not favorites, but these are somebody that
Like if you were gonna, I said spend the week. I rephrased this a different question.
Yeah, and if you want to spend
the week. Cancer.
For sure. Another Cancer, a Libra, and definitely an Aries. Like if I was to spend that time and it'd be like we on a ship or something, we going on a trip, let's go.
Aries, Libra. Okay, so interesting. You have fire, you have air, and you have water. Very good.
Variations. What about you?
The 3 that I was spend. So this is hard because I asked a hard question that's hard for even me to answer, right?
Okay.
Because I would say Cancer, but that only counts for certain people. Right. My grandmother, and I think it has to do with placements. Because for you have a Leo placement in your moon. So it's like, I love the Cancer in you, but I think the Leo is fire. That's where that fire comes from. And so it relates to me on an Aries level. So, and then my grandmother, she's just my grandmother, right? So I would say, you know what I'm saying? Yes. So I would say y'all as Cancers. And then Aries, because another Aries for me is like my sister or brother.
Right.
Like we get each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would probably say it would be probably a tie between Leo and Sagittarius.
I knew you
Yeah.
were going to say Leo.
Yeah. You can have between Leo and Sagittarius.
It's amazing how you have this very strange love affair with Sagittarius. Like unlike me.
I know. It's opposite.
Total.
Isn't that crazy?
Total. And my oldest son is a Sagittarius, and he's amazing. He's super amazing, very particular, very like
they're amazing people.
Out the way, that type of thing. Very considerate, but very unpredictable in a sense.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting because, like I said, it will probably be between a Leo and a Sagittarius. I think they'll be tied.
Okay.
They would be tied. So if I had to pick one, I don't know, probably would have to toss a coin.
Give me 2 signs that you would not want to go on a
Pisces.
For sure.
That's number 1.
For sure.
Pisces.
For sure.
Absolutely not.
Stay home.
Please stay home.
Please stay home.
Minus my niece.
Okay.
I love my baby. So she's an exception to my rule.
Okay.
Because
my best friend, my guy best friend Reese is
like that's she's my exception to that rule. She could definitely come. With the regular Pisces, no. And I would say you said 2?
2.
I would say Pisces and I'm sorry, y'all, probably a Taurus. Because we're on vacation, right?
We're on vacation.
We're on vacation for a week.
We're on vacation for a week.
And that's why I said no to Taurus, because they probably gonna like want to chill and stuff. And I'm gonna want to be like, let's go do this, let's go do that. So to me, that wouldn't be the appropriate space for me and the Taurus to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mine would be Pisces and Sag. I do not want them near me. I do not want them near me on a cruise. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
So listen to this. So this is a quick story. So the day that I had gotten my divorce, the day that I was in court on my divorce,
was a very interesting day.
Very interesting
to say the least.
To say the least. And
hold on. Wait, we gotta do this one time.
Yeah. I got it. So the day that I had got my divorce, I had a leadership call that I had to attend, even though I had a scheduled court divorce, which was a continuance of a court date that we had months prior to that date, right? Mind you, backstory culture, I divorced a Sag. So with that said, at that court date, after the continuance was the date in April. And so I had this leadership call that I had to be on the call because I was being recognized, and I wanted to, I wanted to be a part of that call, and not just be absent and then having to hear about it or review it on my teams. So the signal was very, very poor in the courthouse because it's like up 3 floors and it was just very hit and miss. So I had to go into a particular location, and the staircase, not really staircase, it was a hall that was next to a staircase, right? So next to the staircase, I was in the hallway. My ex was at the top of this the hall waiting for me because he and I was talking or whatever. And as I'm, texting, on this call, on this leadership call, I ended the call, came back up. I met this lady, and she was there accompanying her friend that was going through her divorce. And she spoke as we were passing, and we then started kind of talking in the hall. And she said that she was a Aries. And I was just like, really? I said, my sister cousin is an Aries. I love Aries. Like, And she's like, yeah. So we're talking, and she was like, what's your sign? I said, well, I'll let you guess. And she guessed Leo.
Yeah.
And then
but you definitely give that energy.
Yeah, she's like Leo, because And then I told her I was a Cancer, and she was like, "Oh," "Oh, y'all so gentle, so like, you know." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm about that life." So her and I was just cutting up because she like Aries are really, really, and I said that story to say Aries, I attract and or collect Aries. Like it's just a natural click. Because of, you know, I think Aries even though I already exude it, I think Aries also brings out the more of the Leo side of me.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, come on, come with it. Like, you know, like let's go, you know. And so her and I was just cutting up, and she's like, "Yeah, I've been married 3 times." She's like,
that is Aries energy
I
though.
love
She
it.
said,
Again, I was just, you know, of course I always say like, "Oh my gosh, like you're so much like my sister cousin." And but not as far as married 3 times, but I was just saying, she's like, "They don't matter to me." And we were going over her husband's signs. She was just like, one was a Libra, one was an Aquarius, and then the other was a Capricorn. And she said
the one she was divorcing was a Capricorn.
the one, no, she was there accompanying one of her friends in a divorce.
Oh,
He had been married 3 times before, and she was just like, you know, but her last husband was a Capricorn. And she was just, I was like, how was that? And, you know, just engaging in conversation on wanting to hear her. She's just like, oh, he was da 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 da. And it was just so interesting. Because everywhere I go and everybody I meet, 80% of the time we are discussing zodiacs because of just, you know, the compatibility or just again me mentally noting the behavior.
I do too. I do that now too. So like I'll say, "When's your birthday?" Yes. And they really think I'm like asking because I want to know their birthday. Like I'm not buying you a gift type. I'm asking you that. I just want to know because I need to know who I need to relate to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to know who you are. That way, my expectations are a certain way. Okay, I know they're Scorpio. I know that's like Scorpio energy, or they're doing Scorpio, you know, like stuff like that. It just makes you understand people, and your expectation can be a little different. Because sometimes, like, if you don't know who they are, you're trying to get to know them, and they do some stuff, and you're like, "Oh my God, that's so weird." Why they act like that, or whatever. If you kind of like understand the zodiacs, you kind of like already understand them.
For sure.
Like, when they can play something, oh, yeah, that's because she's a Capricorn. She can go play.
Like, totally. It's become so important to me because, like you said, you want to kind of be able to know what you're up against in a sense of, like, you want to know. Of course, we never know off the top unless it's totally visible. And which some mental health issues you can't
exactly.
You know, people dress up things so much.
They do
super like beautiful. And you're like, oh my gosh, you are crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like you are good and crazy. And so therefore it skews the behavior analyzing that I've done.
Right.
You know, and so I have to then now treat you like a crazy Capricorn or crazy, you know, like, let me make sure I give you 50 feet.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, and then like I said, when you understand, you be like, if there's certain behaviors that you just not okay. I mean, you know, most of us, we're going to adjust because we're not all built the same. No. But when the behavior gets to the point where it's just not conducive to a friendship, to a relationship, to whatever it is, then you have to just kind of be like, okay, you just got to, like, I know personally, I had to let a few Tauruses in my life go. Yeah. You know, because the behavior, and I'm not saying all of them are like this. I'm just saying from my experience, the couple of Tauruses that I had to let go were just not good friends. Yeah. Like they were like there for you, but not there for you. And that was tough. And then when your behavior changes and it's inconsistent, for me, I don't like that because I'm a consistent friend. Yeah. I'm a consistent friend. You're going to know who you're getting. If there's a problem, I'm going to tell you. I'm not just going to not answer my phone or not talk to you because there's a problem. I'm going to address the problem. And then hopefully we can work through whatever it is or get past it and move on. Right. Yeah. I'm not just going to just not talk to you for a period of time or whatever. And I know I've been a good friend to you or a good colleague or whatever it is to you. And then you just, you know, disappear. Just disappear. And just like, to me, that's not good friendship.
No, it's not healthy.
It's not healthy at all. And that's not for Aries. We don't have a lot of patience for that kind of stuff. our patience is like short. Like we have short fuse. So we'll probably give you a chance or two. But once you had kind of like chance number 3-ish, somewhere around there, we're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, we don't.
I'm trying to think of like a friend that, or like any particular sign that I had to like really, if it was like a trending. I don't think I discriminate. I mean, I think it's like I have great patience. I have great understanding. Sometimes my understanding is beyond like realistic. Like sometimes I will excuse things that I should not.
Bad behaviors.
Right. Because I feel like maybe it's but then it's like, okay, if you trending like really, really like keep poking me or poking, then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's healthy to often like purge and get away from those who are like totally toxic.
Yeah.
It's no point of even being like trying to stick by them. Like, you're gonna lose yourself. Like, it's just. So I don't think I have one particular sign. I mean, I think I have done that with a few signs. But
some of them, I mean, you're right. Like the behaviors, it could be multiple different signs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've noticed a consistency with certain signs, with certain things.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't have a long patience string. I don't. Especially if I know I'm kind of like I'm being a good friend to you or a good family member to you or a good colleague to you or whatever it is. And then if you show me something different and I don't know where that energy is coming from, nor do you say, hey, this is why I'm acting this way or this is whatever it is, like then I don't have time for those kind of relationships.
Yeah.
I don't. I'd be like, I'm done.
It's disgusting. Like,
yeah, I don't have the patience.
Yeah. No. But I definitely, you know, within the past, like maybe 3 months, I have been very much like into, you know, when I meet new people, I do.
When's your birthday?
When's your birthday? Because, you know, at first it was,
let
me tell you what was said to me by someone within the past 3 months. Of course, I've always done
this it.
What?
You see, just what was said? What they say?
What was said to me when I asked this one particular person? I never met them. We were just conversing, and it was just kind of like talking and laughing or whatever. And I said, "When's your birthday?" And they said the birthday. I think they were something. It wasn't anything. I don't know. So they said. I said, "Oh, you are XYZ," and he was just like, "Oh, you into witchcraft?" I was like, "What?" He's like, you into witchcraft. That's witchcraft. And I'm like,
you know where I'm going to leave that?
What?
In the Bible. It's actually in the Bible.
Yes, it is.
But a lot of people, because, okay, put it this way. It's not witchcraft in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. Do your research, okay?
Do your research.
The zodiac sign, the 12 zodiac signs are actually in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not witchcraft. What happened is that because our society doesn't promote spirituality,
yes,
they promote institution, that we lose sense of our spirituality. When you regain a sense of spirituality, you will start to see that a lot of things that we were told and taught or witchcraft or whatever actually isn't. It's all a part of possibly historically looking at where you're from, your culture is probably a part of your culture.
It is. You're right.
But because our society wants us to be disconnected and have no power spiritually, they'll tell us that is witchcraft or is this.
Yes,
but you have to know better for yourself of what it really is.
Yes. Because in the Bible, they had the astrologers. I mean, they did a lot of astrology.
It's all there.
Yeah. And it was very significant. And even in science and even with agriculture today, you know, the moons, like, you know, some farmers plant certain seeds or, you know, cultivate certain whatever when under certain moons.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
Those things are very significant in development, growth.
Absolutely.
And everything else.
Yep.
So if it's that significant in breeding and cultivating and fertilization and all of that in plants and in the crops, why would not
Yeah,
it be the same for us? Because
absolutely.
we are living things as
So
well.
how many disciples did Jesus have?
12.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
Oh, sorry.
How many zodiac signs are there?
12. Okay, so what about this?
Need I say more? I'm done. Like, do your own research. Do your
What
homework.
about this new stuff about this zodiacs? They're saying like it's like a 13th zodiac.
No, I think that's some made up stuff because somebody is bored and needs something to do. Because people like to change stuff. Like they
Yeah.
like to change time. They like to change. I
Yeah.
think that's not. I think that's fictional. So there's been 12 zodiacs since how long? And all of a sudden there's 13.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
it's not.
And I'm
And
not
and if you start putting so for me that would mean I'm a Pisces. I ain't no Pisces.
ew.
You get what I don't have Pisces energy.
Not at all.
Not at all. So no. Because if you relook at the how they kind of recategorize the signs, it would put you in the sign right before you.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and I'm definitely not a Gemini.
Exactly.
However, we are in Gemini season, and there
are.
are quite a few great talents, great cultural people that are, like for instance, Jada Kiss, which is one of my favorites. Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Felicia Rashad, which is
Geminis are great.
Great.
Yeah, they're great.
Great people.
Now they have two different faces. Don't get me wrong. They do. I can relate to how they are. I got a couple of really good friends. My best friend is a Gemini, but she's a Gemini Cancer. She's in the cusp. So she has both traits. And then I have a child with a Gemini who completely forgot he had a child at one point. So that's his other face. So
let's talk about that. Like, okay. So this is your, I think, second or third mention of this particular.
What, the two faces?
Yeah. No, this particular Gemini of who you share a child with. And you mentioned on other podcasts of Zodiacs that he had forgot he had a child. So okay, Gemini, like how so? Like I know the story, but like explain. Like
they do. They have two different personalities. They have two different personalities. It's easier to deal with a Gemini female because females, we have hormonal different personalities anyway, right? So for a Gemini female, it's kind of like, okay, you just being hormonal today, whatever it is you want to call it. So it's kind of like easier to deal with that. But like when you deal with a male that has kind of like, he doesn't really have a split personality, but kind of, you know what I mean? It's just like, hold up, you completely forgot. It's kind of like amnesia. It was kind of like amnesia. Like, who was that person that I was seeing? Who was that?
So how was he in the beginning? Like a Gemini? Like how did he?
Okay, like
his representative.
His representative. That's a very good way to put it. So his representative was minister. Now his representative is back to being the drunk. Hey, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. Just be clear. Yeah, just be clear who you are. Like, just be clear. Like, don't flip flop back and forth. Because in another 5 years, he might be back to being the minister. I don't know. He's still the same person. He just has like a flip floppy type of energy about him.
Oh,
yeah.
So okay,
my best friend Sherry has the same thing, and I'll tell her to her face, and she'll say it too. She has Sherry and she has Siobhan. Siobhan. But I understand that. I understand her with that. But she can openly admit it. Like, she'd be like, don't bring Siobhan out. Okay? Don't bring her out. She not good. Okay? So, but she can admit that. She don't act like Siobhan don't exist. Siobhan's there. So I can respect that. And I understand her. But
so I have a brother that is a Gemini.
Yes.
And actually, yeah, I have a brother that's Gemini. I feel like they definitely want to do what they want to do when they want to do it, and who
Yes.
they want to do it with.
Right.
I do think, and again, not just no, because my brother is super awesome and amazing.
Absolutely.
However,
No, there. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna make no flunkies. But anywho, nor did your mom. But I will say Geminis, out of all the zodiacs, and check me and correct me, I think a lot of times, often out of all the zodiacs, they're often the ones that get more like a pass or forgiveness on the mistakes that they do make.
They do. Yeah, they do.
I think a lot of times, a Gemini. Okay, so you could have, and this is an example, so follow the math. You could have a Aquarius baby father, and I hate that word, but baby father, and you could have a Gemini baby father,
Mm-hmm.
and they can do the exact same thing to you. They can traumatize you, leave you, whatever it is to you. However, the Gemini, I don't know if it's something they say or do, or the demeanor that gets them to actually the Gemini could actually do you worse.
Yeah.
Could do you worse. You could have 5 kids with the Gemini, and that Gemini up and leaves you in the middle of the night while you sleep.
Because you know what it is?
What is it?
Because they're not malicious. They're not malicious at all. Like some people are just mean.
Yes.
And you'd be like, okay, you were mean to me, you cussed me out, you did all these things, and you want me to take like a Pisces dude. They can be really mean. Yeah, they can be. Capricorns, they can be mean. So, but with them, it's not malicious. It's just their way. So they know they're wrong. They know they're wrong. It's just their way. So they know that they're wrong, but they're not mean. Geminis are not mean people. They just be like the two-faced thing. Just the 2 different personalities thing.
That's how they get away with
it. So when they come back, they're not coming back malicious. They're not coming back mean. They're coming back sincere because they really don't know where their head has been for the last 8 years. You understand what I'm saying? But when they come back, they're not malicious. They're actually good people. So that's how they get more forgiveness than other zodiacs, in my opinion.
Do.
Because they're good people.
They can cut your throat.
Yeah, they're not bad people.
Cut your finger, and you would make a big deal about the finger being cut.
Yeah,
it's like you got a whole throat slash, ma'am, from a Gemini.
Yeah, like they're not.
Did you forget about that? The details and the pain of that?
Yeah, they're really not mean. They're really good people. They have good hearts. They just got that weird thing about them.
They get a lot of forgiveness.
They do. Because you can't be mean, malicious, nasty, evil, or whatever, and do something bad, and then come back with your nasty, evil self, and think you're supposed to get forgiveness, right? That's what a lot of people do. They'll be like, "Look, I know I messed up, but
you just gotta get over it."
Yeah, you just get over it, and then they'll come back, and then you'll start to see the mean thing again, right? They might straighten up for a period of time, and then they back to being. Gemini's not like that. They're not mean.
They're kind of like
they're good people.
You know how
kind of like a Sagittarius. Like, you know how Sagittarius is kind of like, but they're not mean people. They're not malicious.
Ooh.
Sagittarius, they're not malicious. Never mind. You just had a bad experience there. But like Gemini, I've never encountered a Gemini that heart was really, really mean. I haven't encountered.
No. Actually, I will say one.
Who?
I don't know her. She's a celebrity. She just took to social media not too long ago. I will not say her name, but I don't think it's out of pure evilness. I think it's out of hurt for sure.
Yeah, because they don't be evil. They don't. I haven't run across one. Have I run across two-faced? What the heck type Gemini? Yes. Like, hold on. Okay, I thought you wanted to be. So you don't want to be a teacher now. Today you want to be a politician. Got
That's
it.
Capricorn.
So yeah, they could do that too. So it's like, okay, got it, fully understood. Today you want to be a minister. Tomorrow you want to be a thug. Like, okay, totally understood. But they not
be
me.
selling drugs tomorrow.
Yeah, but they not a mean minister and they not a mean thug. They like the coolest thug ever. Like they chilling.
They
But
do.
they not
Gemini's
mean.
got a lot of. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it's like a
Yeah.
lot of passes are like given to Gemini's, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
sir, you just
Yeah, it's definitely special.
It is.
Yeah, I haven't met. I have yet to meet a mean one.
That's a good point because as I think about it, I don't know a mean Gemini.
Yeah, no, they cool.
I don't know.
They just be special.
Who is the meanest sign that you would say the most evil? Definitely evil sign.
What do you think? Yes.
I knew he was going to do that.
We do know sign language.
Yes, we do. The meanest sign. I think any sign could really honestly be, very mean if in fact provoked. I will say this. I know, I don't know if it's still on the charts of it being the highest or the one that is labeled the most dangerous sign when provoked. It was said for several years. I don't know if it's now, but they said definitely a Cancer can be very much like rageful. Really? Because we're very, I'm going to be honest with you. Let me tell you something. And this, again, I'm not being biased at all. Cancers are typically very laid back, chill, kind people naturally. Like, it's just like, I'm going to stay out the way. I don't need to be the center of attraction or attention. I'm sorry. I don't need to be none of that. Like, I'm good. I'll set up. But it's like when you provoke us, it's a whole nother unrecognizable person. But you have to really get like to the point where it's like, picking. And they said that out of the Zodiacs, that was one of the most dangerous signs because we're so nice. And a lot of times you have to be mindful of those who are very kind because those are the ones that are really working hard to not be mean and go off. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's natural in a sense for me because that's how I grew up. Like we grew up with, loving, kind. We had it made compared to these children today. But at the same time, it's like, don't really get me wrong.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot. So I would say probably the meanest wouldn't be a Cancer, but we could be on that top. I think a Sag.
They do have a mean streak, but I think for me,
for women, it's Scorpio for sure.
Definitely a Scorpio. They are mean as heck when they want to be.
They are,
but yes, they are mean.
You like, woo, honey? Did I step on your leg?
And for a Sag, I think for me, because it's a relatable fire sign, I understand them, but they definitely do have a psychotic element to them when pushed wrong, or if they feel trapped. Like, don't try to
trap. Like confrontation.
They don't like confrontation, and they don't like to feel trapped either. That's why they like to travel so much, because they need to feel like
moving.
Yeah, they need to feel I'm free. I can do what I want. I can do what I need. So anything that kind of like, because I've seen Sagittariuses even get mad with their spouses because their spouses feel like a trap. A marriage is I'm not gonna call it a trap, but it's a commitment, right? So sometimes they don't like the bond of commitment. They like the bond of a relationship, but not the commitment part. So if you're telling me I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to be here by 10 and I have to do this and do that, they don't want to hear that. They don't want that kind of commitment.
Let me say, so again, I was married to a Sag for 16 years, and he loved to say, I would always kind of like, it would just irk my nerves. He would always be like, well, my wife, and my wife, he loved to like, let people know he had a wife and he had that commitment. Um, or like, for instance, I'll say, I'm going to XYZ.
I need to see his birth certificate. Because I swear to goodness, sometimes he don't sound like a Sag at all. He be sounding like a Capricorn.
Maybe. So, he would always, like always like my wife, like he loved to, showcase marriage. He loved to showcase that, like he would, and often women do that. They're like, my husband.
But hold on. But let me ask you this question.
What?
But when it came to the commitment of marriage, I'm not talking about the formality of marriage, the commitment of marriage. Mm-hmm. Would you say that existed? Not just, oh, I'm gonna be faithful, or I'm gonna pay the bills, or I'm gonna come home. No, the commitment of marriage.
I was the nice accessory.
There you go. Exactly.
Because it was
they don't like the commitment.
It was decisions that were made outside of me, when in fact we already made the decision, and it was just like, let's just, it was always like, just a switch. Yeah,
like the togetherness of the commitment of I have to talk to my wife about it. We got to work through it. We got to sit down and work through it, because that's a commitment.
Yeah,
when you got to sit down and work through it, you got to talk about it. You got to do all of those things. That is the committed piece of marriage. Or where you just, we're married. That's the difference.
Yeah, it was definitely that partnership that no.
That's my point. They don't like to feel that entrapment. And that's what that is. When you have to narrow them down and put them in the corner and say, listen, I need for you to sit down and listen to me, and we need to talk, and this is what we're going to do. They're like, no, I'm not. Mm-hmm. And they'll turn themselves off. They won't communicate if they don't have.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. They don't shut communication down.
Yeah, that's their way of not feeling trapped. So if you needed emotions, if you needed time to talk about something, those sort of things, if he didn't want that, it wasn't gonna happen for you.
That we'll see. Then his birth certificate.
They shut down.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They shut down. That's their way of not. That's their uncommittal way. Because if he was truly committed, those conversations would have been had. The therapy would have been had. The counseling would have been had, because that is the really real commitment.
Let me say this. So therapy and the counseling, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe in wasting nobody's time on something that's just not right. And he definitely, but you
get what I'm saying? Like to me, that's the part of the commitment that didn't exist with him, because he didn't want to commit to. He didn't want to commit to the commitment.
I don't want to waste nobody's time. That's including the therapist.
Yeah.
In mind. I'm not wasting time on going to a therapy session about nothing that I've already made my decision about.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying? Let's talk about in the beginning, where it wasn't to the point where it wasn't bad yet, and maybe it could have been fixed, right? Didn't want that commitment. You understand what I'm saying?
What could have been fixed?
Like, okay, sometimes relationships, before they get so bad, they can be fixed. If it's fixable, right? If it gets to a point where it's not fixable anymore, then it's just, oh, wow, it's just not fixable. So again, if it was at that point where it was fixable, and then that person decided they didn't want the commitment of being cornered to make some changes, then that's the part I'm talking about that is not committed. They don't want that. You understand what I'm saying?
I totally get it. But in this regard, I don't know. Like, I just, some people, okay, you can totally marry any signs can get married, and they can make it totally work. Like, really, right. It'll be the exception, because it also, in addition to the Zodiac, it's also chemistry. And it's also just the overall, again, and then relationships have to have that respect. You have to, a man respects a woman, and a woman must respect a man. And in every case. But I think, when I knew.
Yeah.
But I'm not a quitter, so I wanted to, still go hard and,
Yeah. And then
So yeah,
sometimes people want people to stay even when they're unhappy.
because of they want them to stay for
They
them,
want them to stay.
for the benefits,
Yep.
and that's
And that's
terrible.
not healthy either.
That's not.
No. That's not healthy at all. So if any of you out there are manipulating a relationship or
Mm,
manipulating a commitment just to have someone to stay with you, whether if it be for the bills, for the kids, for the way it looks in front of people, and you're manipulating that other person to stay, you better stop, because it boomerangs every single time. It comes back to haunt you as karma. I think that's one of the worst things to do to a person, is try to manipulate them to stay in a situation where they're unhappy, or where they feel, because you'll know that they're unhappy and you'll know that they don't want to stay. You'll know that. So,
true.
and I feel like letting a person go is the most loving thing you could ever do for a person that you know doesn't want to be there. That is the most honorable thing to do. The most dishonorable thing to do is to try to manipulate a person to stay, and you know they don't want to stay with you.
Yeah.
Women do it all the time. They use babies, they use bills, they use all those things. But
Yeah.
what we don't realize as women, now I've never been that person, but I
No.
see it all the time. What we
Yes.
don't realize as women is that it's gonna come back to bite you, whether it be your next relationship.
Mm.
It could be a lot of different things, and it'll come back to bite you in the long run. So that's
Yeah.
just my little piece of therapy today. That, please, ladies and gentlemen, because men do it too, try to
Mm-hmm.
manipulate, a situation that was not healthy. Because if you don't have two people that want to stay, it is unhealthy.
It is.
It is unhealthy. You
It
have
is.
to be on one accord. That means that the two have to be one. So if one ain't willing, then you not on one accord. You on two accord, and you're unequally yoked.
Absolutely.
So that's just my little piece.
And some people title it like, oh, well, then I was a placeholder. I was, holding a place.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we all play, in positions of,
Yep.
and you can title it that, a
Yep.
placeholder, if that's what you want to title it. I always feel like that was just your assignment at that
Yep.
time, you know.
Yep.
And I think a lot of times it's like the pride. I think
Mm-hmm.
more women have pride than men.
Yeah, because they're afraid of how it looks a lot of times.
Yes.
They're afraid of the way it's gonna look. Now they have to, do double job, double shift, get double work, whatever it is, because they're used to having the man around. But again, just like the old people said, if you let a bird go and it comes back to you, right? If it
Yeah.
comes back, then it means so much more if it comes back. But when you let it go, and if it's gone, it's gone.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
But
it.
that is the most love. If you love a person, that's the most loving thing to do for them.
If you love them.
If you love them.
If it wasn't love at all, then of course I'm gonna be honest with you, it shows.
Yeah.
Because it really, like, even you know, every relationship that goes bad or ends doesn't mean at some point it wasn't love, or it wasn't based
Yeah.
on love, or it wasn't anything that
Exactly.
love did exist. But when in fact once it goes, and then your actions show something opposite of like the hate, that's just like, wow, that was control. Like
Yeah.
you're more upset about the loss of
The
control.
loss of control. Yeah.
Mhm. Or the
Because
pride.
and you know this about me, is that most of my exes I'm friends with.
Yeah,
We're good.
that's
Because
a lot.
that means that we really had a true love for each other. That don't mean we're in love and all that stuff right now, but that means, hey, I really loved you as a person. And as
Yeah.
a person, I'm happy that you're doing well. As a person, I'm happy that you're happy. All those things. But only mature people, emotionally mature people, and emotionally fit people can really understand that.
Yes.
That no, if you cared about a person, of course you're gonna care about them. You're not just gonna automatically turn that off. I mean, what are you? You're not a human. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just going to turn that off. You're going to care about them and you're going to wish them well. That's the healthiest thing to do. Not sit there and talk trash about them like they're the worst person. Well, you were just with them 20 days ago. Yeah, they ain't the worst person. You were just with them for 10 years and they took care of you or whatever it is. Right.
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 That part.
Right.
That's why a lot of times when I do share tidbits of my marriage, you know, it definitely is not like, I don't, like, he and I are absolutely cool with fine. Like, again, we're not having Sunday dinner every Sunday. However, we do share, you know, children, right? And we've shared 18 years of, you know, with each other. And it's a lot of things I did not like. It's a lot of things that he did toward me during the marriage. However, I'm not going to like revisit that or to make that my narrative. It's not. It's not my narrative. It's not my story. It's not going to help me heal anything.
No.
If anything, it'll make me more angry, and it's like scratching a scab off each time it tries to heal. It's not doing anything.
Exactly. And not only that, but we show the younger people how to get along, right? Like, for me, my kid, we can go back to my situation if you want. Just the fact that we can get along cordially and the kids can see that shows the kids how to act. Yep. Right? If you can't get along with a person that you shared a life with or a kid with or whatever, what do you think that's doing to the kid? What is that showing the kids? Yep. That's showing them, nah, we don't have to get along to get along. We don't have to be cordial. You know, that's just not a healthy place at all.
It's not.
It's not. And we need to be mindful of what we're teaching the young ones. Like,
well, we're showcasing, and whether it's intentional or non-intentional, it's definitely something that sticks with them. Yeah, it's energy that is created and it's adopted. Yep. And it's definitely it's not a good look. It's just
and not. Even for us as women that have children with men, okay, like if. And it also influences how, because as women, as mothers, we have a lot of influence over the young ones and what they think about their other parent, right? So if we're influencing them in a negative way, now they have this negative connotation about their other parent. And a lot of times it's hard to even unravel and say, hey, no, actually, it's not like that. Yes. You know, I want you to have a relationship with your father. I want you to have a relationship with your mother. So it's like hard to reprogram that kid once they're programmed. Then they grow up and they hate the other parent.
But, you know, again, that's a part of why this person or a man or woman is the way they are, because it's the control. Yeah. So if they lose control of one person or one relationship, they then try to manipulate and do, you know, plant negativity or toxicity into others so that they can channel their thoughts and feelings. And granted, a lot of times it was a movie, and I know you haven't seen it yet. And it's quite a few movies that are dropping out on Netflix. And I'm not gonna
you need to get paid. Look, Netflix need to be paying Culture Club for this stuff. So go ahead.
But a lot of those movies, the ending is definitely like it goes back to like the mental health and how people view things in their mind. Like I could sit here, get off this conversation with you, and then totally walk away saying, oh, we disagreed about a bunch of stuff, make it so negative and turn it around in my head to make a different narrative. Yep. Like the things that people make themselves believe. Yep. That's dangerous.
Very.
That is dangerous.
Very dangerous.
To like make yourself believe a false storyline or a lie just so that you could feel, again, it's that puffing effect. Like, you did this to me because you want to walk away feeling a little bit better about your part you played in the relationship.
Absolutely.
When in fact, you may not have been the bowl stirring the cake batter, but you was definitely the spatula.
Exactly.
You had a great part too.
You played a part.
A good part. The cake just didn't come out not right because of the bowl and not the spatula. Yeah. The bowl just hold it. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely, like, again, it's crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
Well, that's what we do on the culture, here in the
Yeah.
culture, on the Culture Club. So we
We
try
do.
to bring some education, some emotional, spiritual, all that education to the culture. Like, it's important for our culture, especially, to heal.
It
We,
is.
we need a lot of healing
Really,
in our culture.
to really help, because I mean, honestly, healing is not a lot of times, I would say, when I was undergoing my healing, a lot of it was not verbal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was silent in a lot of my healing, because
Mm-hmm.
healing is within.
Yep.
It's nothing you could do as my sister cousin. And culture, please believe and know, Rim is as close as it gets when it comes to me, besides my parents. But it's nothing she could do to help heal me. I
Yep.
had to get quiet, get in tune, reset, recalibrate, and really, like, get into myself and do the work to
Absolutely.
help myself. And
Absolutely.
sometimes, even during childbirth, you're birthing a whole nother person. The best time when you are giving birth is when you're, like, either just moaning, you ain't even verbal.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even
Mm-hmm.
verbal. You're not
Mm-hmm.
talking. You're not saying, "Oh my gosh, like, when you're doing it, huffing, puffing, and all that, and like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." That's not the part that actually is the
Sometimes it's just
it's the
the
quietness.
quiet moan,
Is the
just
moan,
doing
the
what you got
quiet,
to do.
and that's what, like, that helped me.
Yep.
Um, and that helped me, and I think, again, just like she said, we try to, like, educate and provide. We even, like, just, we are very, um we share our personal stuff, like our
Mm-hmm.
personal life stories and situations. And I think, with any type of healing or of anything, it then becomes a conversation piece. But I would never want my healing allowed to be something that totally comes across as, it's definitely not healing. It's
Yeah.
more, it's definitely not
Yeah.
healing, because, again,
Yeah.
it's rehashing the same stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
Once you know,
want that.
one, and that's actually a signal of when you're really healing. Because even when I went through, I can go back to my situation with my youngest. Even when I went through that situation, whereas, again, we make a joke that he's a Gemini, he forgot he had a kid, but no, that was a real situation. I'm joking about it now because I've dealt with it and I've healed from it, so I can joke about it. But it
Yeah.
wasn't a joke back then. Um, and so, when you get to that place where it doesn't hurt and you don't have to talk about it every single day or every week or whatever it is, then that's when you are really, really healing emotionally,
Delivered.
spiritually, and
Yes.
all those things. Because trust and believe, back then, every time I got on the phone, I'm talking about him and how he didn't disappear. No. Today, again, I'm sharing here on the Culture Club because I want to help somebody and I don't mind sharing. But I can tell you, I don't, it doesn't even affect me like that anymore.
Mm-mm.
I'm good. I'm
I,
just sharing to try to help somebody else,
yeah.
you know? But that's when you're definitely healed or healing, is when that's not what you're thinking about all day long. That's not the
You're not,
topic every
not
time
out
you
for
get on the
revenge.
phone.
You're not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
yeah,
true.
that's
It's so
true
true.
healing.
It's
And
true.
and don't get me wrong, those things take time.
It
It
does.
take time is definitely a necessity in healing. However, you also must do your part in that time. So if it means, okay, I need to stop talking about it as much instead of getting on the phone and talking about, let me talk about something different, something positive
Mm-hmm.
that's going on.
Yeah.
And then just kind of start recalibrating your thoughts and your emotions, and you'll start to draw in what you need in your life in that time and space. Like, I drew in a person
Yes.
that became my time and space and is still around um during that time. So because I started refocusing on my focus, hey, I'm about to have a whole kid, I got to do this, I got to do
Yep.
that. So I started, it was still hurting, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from the hurt,
Yeah.
but I started focusing on other things. So then other positive things started coming into my life at that time.
It shifted, and the positive shift, because let's be clear. And this is nothing biblical. This is just definitely the God that I have. This had nothing to do with like religion or anything like that. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Like you said, it shifted for you, and it started becoming more positive, and things you were able to see the positive, because some things that were already there, you just your attention shifted away from it because you were focused on the hurt, the story. Well, let me share this with you, Culture. Every good thing or every said blessing is not by God.
Absolutely.
The devil also offers record deals and
absolutely
checks.
Absolutely. Sometimes
for your demise,
we go a whole different direction than what we were supposed to go.
Yes.
When we go a different direction, then we have to deal with the consequences of those choices.
Yes.
When we go that way. So no, it's not always God. No. But he does offer a GPS and say, hey, you got off track. This is the way I need for you to go. You have to pay attention and say, okay, let me listen to the GPS.
Yes.
And get back on route.
But if the intent of receiving or accepting the said blessing is still connected to the negativity or the hate or the anger,
it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
It's not
at all.
But this is a Saturday chat with your two favorite cousins, and our third was out, which is Green Eyes Net, but with Culture Club. So we just wanted to come on, because we've been talking for an hour and a half, in which outside of this, we be talking for like 4 hours. But we just wanted to come by and just talk summertime zodiacs. And then, of course, we get into the part of when people always say, oh, that is witchcraft. So we kind of then went into like
then we went a whole different direction.
We kind of connected still. It was like the cousin.
It was all connected, but we thank y'all for listening and hanging in there with us. We appreciate it.
So other than that, Rim, have a great Saturday. I really appreciate you coming. We all have crazy schedules. Rim is always, she has still a thriving football team at her home of her boys. And that's crazy too, because even though we grew up as sister cousins, and like really the sisters being first, because we were just there and we always had each other. We also grew up to have only boys.
Yep.
Only sons.
Yep.
We did not have, either of us did not.
And that's probably because we don't know how to do hair. So God was good. We
don't know how to do none of that. I wouldn't be. The only thing we could help each other with was taking our braids.
So God knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. But he knew that, women like us require sons. And it takes special types of women to only have sons.
Absolutely.
It really does. It's a blessing. It's almost like a crown of entitlement.
It is a crown. It is definitely a crown.
It is.
3 times over here. So I'm grateful.
And 3 times biologically here. So but absolutely. I have 4 sons. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, everyone have a great Saturday, and we love you. And we're out. Love you, Ram.
Love you, boo.